Hello world, hello Mongoose Magic Moments fans. I hope you're having a beautiful day. It is Wednesday, the 14th of January 2026, and this is another Mongoose Magic Moments Diaries episode. And we are here at the beautiful Meerkatmanchen research base in the Meerkatmagic Valley Reserve of the Meerkatmagic Conservation Project. Please do feel welcome to ask questions, drop a comment, and I will get back to you during the live stream or after the stream. And this is, of course, the world famous film star who everybody should know very well by now. Never mind Hollywood film stars, they have nothing compared to the true wild film stars out here that we follow in the reserve. This is Ghakhulu Cucciolina Cenerentola Cenerentola, the dominant female from the Cenerentola yellow mongoose group. And as usual, good morning and a welcome. You're watching Mongoose Magic Moments live from South Africa. Please do drop a comment where you are from. Oh, look, one of the birds is coming up to visit. There are many different animals in the neighborhood watch that follow the Meerkats and Mongooses around and try and get food from them. And if anybody joined the live stream yesterday, you will know we filmed something unique in wildlife film history. Lanius calaris, the fiscal shrike, interacting with yellow mongoose, making a false alarm call. What we call deception in nature, or false advertising. It is a magnificent day here in the reserve. It's easily in the upper 20s, maybe it's 27 degrees centigrade already, and it's getting hotter. In the distance, welcome everybody out there. Please do drop a like and send me a comment where you're watching from. That is part of a World Heritage Site, the UNESCO World Heritage Site. NO AI 30. Yes. Welcome from the UAE. Lovely to have you with us. Yes, this is Mongoose, and there are many different species of mongoose around the world. This one has a white tip to the tail and lives in South Africa, and it is called cynictispenicillata. Welcome to the stream, everybody. Great to have you with us. Please drop a comment where you are watching from. We always appreciate that. And you're currently watching a wild mongoose in South Africa, a film star. Showing you around. This is a private reserve. There's my house. And if you've watched any of the other live streams, this is the first time I'm seeing a mongoose. Oh, well, Imperial Majesty 1003. Thanks for your view. Yes, well, that's very interesting, KZN. I do love KwaZulu-Natal. And in fact, banded mongoose, Mongo, live in that area. And they are the most sociable mongooses in the world. I don't like that plural, but there you go. One mongoose, two mongooses. There are no mongoose and mongai, unfortunately, even though it makes more sense. Hey, hi, Matthew Lowe, J7H. Thank you for joining the stream. Good to have you with us. Thanks for the likes, everybody. I appreciate it. Yeah, right now we're watching a wild mongoose of cynictispenicillata, the yellow mongoose species. I am a professional nature conservationist. If you've seen my work with the BBC, National Geographic and Discovery Channel, you'll know me better as the Meerkat Man. I've been working professionally with Meerkats and Mongooses since 1993. This is coming to you live from one of my private study groups that I've been following since 2008, the Cenerentola Yellow Mongoose Study Group. And then, of course, the Ungulungu Meerkats, who sometimes join a stream as well, like the other day before Christmas when they had 4 babies come up live on the stream for the first time we had seen them. All right, what's happening now is the yellow mongoose is in the shade because it's already very hot, going up into the late 20 degrees centigrade. Nothing like our friend from the UAE, of course, but the temperatures can get over 50 degrees centigrade here. So many of the animals that live in the reserve live in holes in the ground, burrows, except where these have been destroyed through plowing and housing. And that is why myself and Alessia Torchini from Italy and Asia Chili from Associazione Suricati Italia, or the Suricate Association Italy. You can check them out on Facebook, and the comments that I'll be putting up have their links. we have been putting artificial tube systems all around the reserve, creating another labyrinth for all the digging mammals. This is unique, incidentally, in wildlife conservation. It has not been done before, and it is a similar concept to doing artificial coral reefs where ships and other objects are sunk into the sea to create new habitat for animals. Because a mongoose such as Ghakhulu cannot simply go and dig up a new hole if a predator is attacking and then get to safety. So what I call these wildlife hotels, bigger and better than the Sheraton, the Trump, and the Ritz, are inherited possibly over thousands of years from one generation of animals living in them to the next. And they don't share the same room or chamber, just like a hotel, but they do share the same complex. So everyone maintains it. Hey, Imperial Majesty, thank you so much. Yes, exactly. This is in South Africa, Matthew Lowe. Welcome. Hey, and I appreciate you. Good to see you, man. I hope you're having a fantastic day. Yes, this is in South Africa. It's a private reserve, the Meerkatmagic Valley Reserve, and it's the Meerkatmagic Conservation Project. I wrote the first conservation book on meerkats based on my work since 1993, and it was published in 2016. You can find it in libraries and universities all around the world. The book is simply called Meerkats by the Meerkat Man. All right, what we've got here is the dominant female watching me because she knows me very well. I have, of course, followed her since birth from November 2018. She is not a tame animal. She knows me. I'm just a noisy object. This is what we attempt to do in our research. For a bit of background, for those who don't know much about what I'm doing, in 1993, I went to the Kalahari Desert in the northwestern side of South Africa, next to the border of Namibia and Botswana, the Kalahari National Park, previously called the Gemsbok National Park. Back then, it was run and managed by Elias Lariche, and then later Dries Engelbrecht, the park warden, took over. But we set up an international research project, which is still going, on the meerkats, or Suricate, with Cambridge University Large Animal Research Group in Britain, LARG, L-A-R-G, and the University of Pretoria here in South Africa, Mammal Research Institute, MRI. At the time, my employer was Professor John Skinner, wrote the most incredible definitive book on mammals of Southern Africa. So I'm a research biotechnician, but my primary interest is sharing information, conservation through education. And that is why I do these video streams. You never know when they're going to be. Please do put in a sub and drop your notification bell, because I also do live streams of the meerkats that I've been following since 2001. Currently, they have babies. I'm very excited to tell you more about them. But of course, all the locations are secretive. This area, if you're interested in finding out more about where I am, although the exact location of the animals is held secret for their own protection, this is the Stone Dojo Gym, martial arts dojo, which I run for the local community around the reserve. And it's world famous. You can actually have a look and find it on the map anywhere in the world. And you can even plot a route to it if you want to come and visit us. And yes, I do take visits. But I prefer to do live streams because then it's just myself and the study animals, and it's basically like having a window into their lives without disturbing them. I was born in 1993. Welcome to the world. Yes, exactly, Imperial Majesty. That is exactly why we don't do any GPS of specific locations of the animals. Unfortunately, in conservation, as you may well know, meerkats and mongooses are part of the international meerkat pet trade and mongoose pet trade, which is illicit. And conservation officials have failed them terribly as a species. But we work together with zoos around the world to educate the public about not supporting animals that are captured from the wild, and rather, if they do, support the environments that are education facilities that are taking care of all of the abandoned animals usually. The sounds I'm making, of course, are well known to people who view my content. There are over 1,400 videos rather. We are nearly on 1.9 million views. I'm happy to say thanks to everybody. And yeah, please keep letting me know. Any questions you'd like to ask about what you're seeing right now, this mongoose For example, why does she have horizontally slitted pupils, not the vertical slitted pupils of the cat and not the round pupil of a meerkat or suricate? Yeah, and if you have a look at her ears, let's go right in there, you will see they are very thin, almost like paper, and they've got fine hair covering them. The meerkat or the suricate has a fleshy valve in its ear that can seal off the ear canal. No mongoose in the world has that. So the meerkats are considered by many to be a mongoose, but in fact it's incorrect. There are many anatomical differences between them and a typical mongoose, and there are over 36 species of mongooses in the world, if, again, you include the meerkat. However, they're much more dog-like, and mongooses are much more cat-like in their behaviors as well. For example, this yellow mongoose will lick herself. Meerkats usually nibble on themselves, and they don't waste moisture. Yellow mongoose has 5 nails on the front feet, 4 on the back, short nails on both. The meerkat has 4 nails on the front feet, long nails. They're non-retractile, they're constantly growing, and they have 4 short nails on the back feet. The banded mongoose, which I studied in Uganda, Queen Elizabeth Park, back in 1997, surrounded by the Ruwenzori Mountains, the Kazinga Channel. It's a beautiful Katunguru village, stunning place. I highly recommend a visit to the equator if you can handle the heat and the rainfall in the middle of the day. Well, the banded mongoose have 5 nails on the front feet and 5 on the back. Ticky, 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 ticky. Just having a look around again, you can see how hot it's going to be today. Probably it will go up into the upper 30s. We haven't had rain in this area, unfortunately, for many, many months. We're in a terrible drought, and the reserve river has almost completely dried up now. Thank you for that very good question, Imperial Majesty. I'll repeat it for those who are not going to see the comments. Are they like a cat family of creatures? Mongoose and meerkat relatives. All right, very nice. So, firstly, no, they are not in fact related to the cats. They are related to Mustelidae, Herpestidae, Viveridae. That's what some people think, because they say a macehond. You'll know this one in South Africa, die stink macehond. In Afrikaans, it means a stinky mongoose, is in fact from the Mustelidae family. That's why I'm mentioning this for confusion, which is the honey badger family and the otter. Aeonyx capensis, Cape clawless otter, and Mellivora capensis, the honey badger. So in fact, distinct macehond, Ictonyx striatus, is not a macehond. It is not a mongoose. So mongoose, Herpestidae, Viveridae. But meerkats are related to the genet and the civet and the mongoose family. But there's nothing else like them anymore. I think they are probably the ancestors of what we call the modern mongoose now. Yellow mongoose are highly adaptable. They can be active when it's daytime, the diurnal, nighttime, nocturnal, and they are crepuscular, active at dawn and dusk because of their eyesight. It lets in lots of light. Their horizontally slitted pupils are like that of a goat, not a cat. Brrr. Meerkats, if they get wet, they can die of hypothermia. They have hardly any hair on the front side of their body, the stomach area, because they are nature's solar panels, I call them. And the yellow mongoose is covered in fine fur. It's not coarse hair like that of a meerkat. So it's much more cat-like. Meerkats are much more dog-like. Again, just a quick look around. I'm enjoying the shade at the moment. I've been up since 3 o'clock in the morning. Wildlife research starts before the first animals get up, and the yellow mongoose in this area tend to wake up at about 20 minutes to 5 in the morning when it's still nice and cool. The hand gestures I'm using are signals. It's NLP, neuro-linguistic programming, associative learning. Some people call me an animal shrink or an animal whisperer, but basically it's all about associative learning, positive and negative. These are ways of creating signals that animals recognize, and if anyone was trying to approach them and does not make the correct signals, the animals will run away and not trust them at all, which is exactly why wildlife research is very, very careful about working with different animals to make sure that they only trust the research biologists. So again, This is what I call a displacement reassurance. Some people say, oh, the man behind the hand, because that's usually all you'll see of me, or my feet. But the point is, the focus is on the animals here. So yesterday we saw a physical shrike give a false alarm. It's the first time that's ever been recorded with the yellow mongoose species, and we got it on live stream. And that's why I like these unedited wildlife documentaries. I do upload lots of videos almost every day. Yesterday there were 10 shorts, and the day before 10 short videos as well. So there's a whole variety for those who are interested to find out more. Please keep asking your questions. He wants to play. That's an interesting observation. Yes, mongoose and meerkats are in fact very playful, but what she's doing is just checking that it's still me. I'm just saying it's me, it's me, it's me. You'll see in a moment she will look away again. I'm just letting her know I'm the same object. I'm making a lot of noise so I don't disturb her with crunching sounds and twigs. I'm going to drop a bit of research techniques on you out there, audience. Thanks again for your likes and subs. I appreciate it. Thanks for the shout outs. Even this Mr. Mega, my lunch break is over. Hey, great stuff, Imperial Majesty 1003. Thanks for stopping in. Hope to see you again and have a great day, fellow South African. Appreciate it. Yeah, so what I was saying is quite simple. When we're working with the animals, we want them to basically treat us like an object, just a noisy thing that they pretty much ignore, except if we don't make the sounds they recognize or hand movements, etc., they will in fact become alarmed. So by doing this, we can ensure that they later carry on doing their usual behaviors as if we are not there. This means we don't need to fit radio telemetry like BioTrack from Britain or Telonics from America, as we have done in the Kalahari Desert on our research project there with Cambridge and the University of Pretoria. All right, she's having a little respite in the shade of the tree. Tot ziens. Tot ziens. Thanks so much. For everybody out there who doesn't speak Afrikaans, tot ziens is until I see you again, or goodbye, basically. Thank you, Imperial Majesty. I do appreciate it. Good name, that. I like that. All right. In fact, Ghakhulu is the equivalent of a majesty because she is the dominant female of the Tsabokolori yellow mongoose group. Again, you can follow the videos of her since 2008 when my YouTube channel went live. It's one of the older channels on YouTube. Please do check out our snake videos. The one snake video went viral, over 1.2 million views in a day, of Nudger Nivea Cape Cobra. If you check the main channel, you will see it right at the top of the playlist. And then the puff adder, Betis aritans, just over last year, hit 57,000 views. Can you see how this bird is keeping a close eye on the yellow mongoose in case it digs up any scraps? It's not just here by chance. It's a bit like the cattle egrets that follow the cows around. Bubulcus ibis species of birds, for those out there, ornithologists. Let's have a closer look at what's going on here. As you can see, she's totally carrying on as if I'm not here. She's fully aware of my presence. And as our Imperial Majesty was saying earlier in the comments, she wants to play. Yeah. However, this is foraging behavior. At the moment, it's basically work, 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 get food. And later in the day, when everyone has had a good amount to eat, they can afford to play. Thank you so much for everybody visiting today. It is a beautiful day. And no, you are not watching a tame mongoose, in case you're wondering, or what it is. We are out here in a big open wilderness area in the Meerkatmagic Valley Reserve, right now in South Africa. And we are the only people out of billions of people on the planet. We're all on the same rock, going around the sun, as I like to say. Doesn't matter where you were born, we're still travelers. And the fact is, we are the only ones watching yellow mongoose up close like this, live. It's a fact. And when we watch the Ungulungu meerkats, it is the same. That live stream was the first live stream of baby meerkats coming up on a live stream of this subspecies ever filmed in history. And that is under the lives section on the website. You can see even the bird is coming up right next to me here. It's not bothered by the fact that I'm here because the mongoose is basically not alarming. And because she's not alarming, the bird doesn't see that there's any threat here. They take their cues from each other. It's the neighborhood watch. Again, just coming back to clarify one of the points asked, mongoose and meerkats, there's a lot of confusion about them. Meerkats are considered to be mongoose by many, but as I was mentioning briefly, there are many anatomical differences between them and a typical mongoose. And I'll give you another very important one, anatomical and morphometric measurement-wise. Meerkats have no cutting teeth. They have no carnassial teeth. That means they have 4 teeth fewer than cynictispenicillata, the yellow mongoose right here. She has cutting teeth. She can actually attack and eat larger food items and digest them easily, whereas a meerkat usually spends most of its time eating smaller vertebrates, animals with backbones, and invertebrates, animals without backbones. Just giving you some of the non-scientific jargon or terminology as well. Over the decades, I've spoken to children all over the world as well, doing charity work. I visited England too and Uganda, talking to various school children there, and all over South Africa. I'm all about conservation through education. Of course, if you would like the detailed reading, you can find my scientific publications with Cambridge and Pretoria University. In any good university in the world or library, they're there. There are many of them, over a dozen. But then we're starting to get very technical. And in my experience, the farmers and other landowners that I work with on a daily basis do not generally spend time reading scientific publications because it's not their profession. And I'm talking about very detailed information, ultrasonography, GNRH challenges, DNA collection, the evolution of a bloody-bloody-blah cooperative sociable breeding mammal, etc. So I like to take the jargon away and just put it into more simple terms. And most importantly, I'm here to answer any questions that you out there might have, the public. Beautiful. We're just relaxing in the shade together, but it is only the start of the day here in the Meerkatmagic Valley Reserve on this magnificent Wednesday, the 14th of January, 2026. Look at how close the bird is. Again, the bird is not a threat. The bird is an ally. I just like to point that out. Look at this, right next to each other. If I zoom out a bit more, it's difficult to even notice that there's a mongoose there, sitting right in front of me, less than 2 meters away, because of her incredible camouflage. Of course, her white tip to the tail makes it very difficult for anybody to notice her unless the tail is puffed up, and that's what they'll do when they're alarmed or they're active at night. Unlike the meerkat, again, who is diurnal, active during the daytime hours with the black tip to the tail, which they'll put up above their bodies in a vertical position above their back when they are alarmed, and everyone will react. Can you see the white tip to the tail? Again, yellow mongoose, cynictispenicillata in Botswana, just up from South Africa, are grey. But they're not the grey mongoose, they are still called the yellow mongoose. So a grey mongoose that is actually yellow is called, and a yellow mongoose that is red, because there are different variations in different areas. Some say there might be 10 or more subspecies of, inverted commas, air quotes, yellow mongoose. So, although there could be grey or reddish in appearance or yellow, it's still the same cynictispenicillata species. Of course, subspecies where populations actually diverge are very interesting because they've adapted to an area so specifically that if you had to put them anywhere else, they would not survive because they are too dark to be in a light environment or too light to be in a dark environment, basically. Melanism and albinism, dark and light appearances in animals, they basically have adapted to a specific habitat over a great deal of time, and populations have gradually changed. Although you will get mutant alleles and aberrations in populations which allow them to adapt to changing conditions, if we were to take a meerkat, for example, from this area, which is the darkest of the recognized subspecies, and put it in the Kalahari Desert, it would have no chance of survival simply because it would stand out so easily, number one. Number two, if there are any meerkats in an area, they will find those meerkats that have been introduced and kill them. There's a war going on right now with meerkats and mongooses, and I'm not joking. It's a war to the death. They will find each other and kill each other without even a second thought about it. And it's a war for food, for territory. So although this mongoose, as our one viewer from South Africa mentioned, looked like she's playing, she's constantly alert, because anybody, just like this bird, will arrive. Whether I'm here or not, it doesn't matter, because when she is here, she is letting everyone know just by her presence that I am nothing to be concerned about. I'm also part of the neighborhood. Please do drop a comment. Where are you from? Please ask questions, and I will get back to you during the live stream. And if not, you're welcome to put a comment on any of the different videos. There are over 1,400 of them. Yeah, looking up at that mountain range, it's difficult to believe it can actually have snow on it in the winter months. Welcome out there, friends. You're watching Mongoose Magic Moments, Animal Adventures, and Walk with Wildlife. And this is Ghakhulu, which is a Zulu word for very much. Her brother was Giabonga, which means thank you. And she was named by one of our sponsors, and so was her brother. The pair of them together made thank you very much. It was the first surviving litter in many generations, and we are super appreciative to still have her with us, although the male has moved on. Just letting the bird know it's just me, not to get disturbed either. There are many different sounds that I make around different wild animals, and they learn to recognize these over many years, and so do all the different animal species in an entire environment. And I've been working on my private reserve since 2008 and in the surrounding areas since 2001. So there are many, many animals that know this noisy object that you are hearing right now. Hello and welcome out there, everybody. Yeah, just dropping a bit of science background, what we're actually seeing right now outside the Meerkatmanchen research base. I'm going to uncrumple my body. It's not easy to get up when you've been seated for a long time in this area, I found. And I had to do that without disturbing our film star. There she is, standing right there in the shade. Now this is incredible trust for me to be able to approach a mongoose from only 2 meters away, and I'm over 6 foot as I stand here right now, just to give you an idea. There she is, and there I am. Yeah, to a casual observer, they would not even notice that there's anything here. And of course, long before anybody who is not from an environment where the animals have grown up approaches, I'm talking about even a kilometer away, there will be a whole series of neighborhood alarms. Birds will start making alarms, insects will stop calling, which will alarm everyone. Antelope, all the different species in an area will react. And of course, the mongoose and the meerkat, with the incredible vision, are part of a cooperative social vigilance system where they will all take their cues from each other and react. As you can no doubt tell, this is not an edited version of a documentary with a voiceover. So she's hearing me talking right now, but she knows my voice very, very well. And if I was to stop talking and crunch a twig or a stick or anything in this area, some of this crunchy vegetation, because we're in a drought, it would alarm her immediately, which I don't want. However, I don't want her to become tame, which is unselective trust, which means if any predator was to move along here and make a crunching sound, a scraping sound, she would then ignore that warning. And that is, of course, what happens to unselective trust taming animals, which is no good. That is why I call and talk all the time when I'm with her to distract her. When she cannot see me, she can hear me. And this is a displacement reassurance. I've used it with chimpanzee in Kibale rainforest in Uganda in '97. I was a guest of the researchers there. We went and walked for many, many hours through the rain and the mud. It was incredible. And we watched chimpanzee nesting, making nests in the Kibale rainforest. It was the most incredible experience. That is not open for tourists, just incidentally, in case you're wondering. The animals are completely protected there, and she's falling asleep. This really is Mongoose Magic Moments. Thank you so much for visiting, friends. Please do drop a like. Please do subscribe and join and turn on your notifications if you would like to join a live stream as it happens. We've already been on for 31 minutes watching Ghakhulu Cucciolina, the film star, right outside the Meerkat Mansion research base. And you can see the big antenna up on the roof there. That's bringing us the signal right now, covering this Wi-Fi footage. In the future, I hope to get sponsors where we will increase the wildlife video internet coverage so that I can even do night streams with night vision equipment and go down into the riverine system, which is a jungle in the reserve with no internet coverage at the moment. There are porcupine here, there are ant bear, there are aardwolf, there are honey badger, there are bat-eared foxes, there are black-backed jackals, Cape foxes, the yellow mongoose here, the water mongoose, Atilex paludinosus, Herpestes ichneumon, the large grey, also known as the Egyptian mongoose, Galarella pulverulenta, now known as Herpestes pulverulentus. They keep changing the names, even though there's supposed to be one scientific name per species. With DNA reclassification, some animals are being put into different categories. But if you Google search one of the scientific names, you'll always find the newest name or the oldest name as well. I do like to use scientific names for those who are watching now because, number one, I'm a research biotechnician, wildlife researcher, and number two, there are 12 official languages in South Africa alone, which means there are dozens of common names, I kid you not, even for mongoose, such as our film star here. In some areas it is called a rooi meisond, which means a red mongoose. And I'll just mention to you, Galarella sanguinea, which is the red mongoose, or the slender mongoose, up in the Kalahari Desert, is a completely different species to cynictispenicillata. So if you're trying to understand what they are doing and what their habitat requirements are and how to conserve them, you need to first understand which species you're looking at. If I say cynictispenicillata and I'm in Japan or China or Russia or anywhere on the planet, everybody there in science knows exactly which species I'm referring to. If I say a rooi meisond or vergeel meisond or vergeeltjie witkwas, etc., which are some of the languages here in Afrikaans and names for the animal, it gets very confusing. I'm going to drop another bit of information about confusion here. The stink meisond, the stinky mongoose, Ictonyx striatus, is not even a mongoose. And yet its name is mongoose. That's the level of confusion I'm talking about. And when people see one animal eating a certain kind of food, for example, oh, it's eating my chickens or attacking my livestock, and then they think it is the same as the meerkat, which is not, which is primarily eating insects and small vertebrates like lizards, then of course it is a terrible confusion, and it has led to many animals being artificially and unfairly destroyed in a way that would never happen otherwise if they were just understood. And that's why I'm all about conservation through education. We don't just write lots and lots of scientific publications, which are only read by scientists on average, because there's too much jargon, and I have these publications myself, and that's why I can say that. Yeah, because many people that I've spoken to have never even heard of some of the publications that we have done, even though they're world famous among scientists. So, let's just have a look. It doesn't seem to be like there's anything there, even though I'm less than 1.5 meters away from her. I'll show you right now. Here I am. And there she is. Constantly alert. As I mentioned in my book, the Meerkats book from 2016, Meerkats and Mongooses are the hunted hunters. They are constantly having to watch out for danger and also find food. And everyone is trying to make a living in this area. That's a tough life. And that's why when they have an opportunity just to relax, that's one of the rare moments during the day. It means she's eaten fairly well today, and it's just too hot to be going out and wasting energy. Later, when it cools down again, she can become more active. Unlike the meerkats, which cannot afford to waste any time during the day, they have to carry on foraging for food. And right now they have babies, and the babies are constantly calling for food. We call it a begging call. And the baby that asks the loudest, basically, calls the loudest, gets fed the most. We have shown this. So meerkats are completely diurnal, as I've mentioned in the stream earlier, active during the daytime hours, and they do not come out at night. Their eyesight is useless at night. But the reason I mention that is, let's have a look at those pupils up close. Come on. Horizontally slitted pupils like that of a goat, not vertically slitted pupils like that of a cat. Highly variable light conditions. The yellow mongoose is highly adaptable. She can come out and hunt at night, so there's no rush. If it is too hot or it is raining, she'll simply come out later. And incidentally, yellow mongoose are active when it rains, so they can even be out and about when it's raining. Unlike the meerkats, which will not be out when it is raining, because if they get wet, they can die of hypothermia because they don't have hair underneath their stomach area like the mongoose here has. She has a very thick coat of fine hair, almost like fur, like a cat. So she can be active at day, light hours when it is suitable. She can sleep more. And because she is more of a solitary hunter, except when she has babies, she can get close to a lot of animals with very sensitive hearing, like small birds, mice, etc. Incidentally, the Afrikaans name meishond means mouse dog. Yeah, because they do eat a lot of mice, a lot of rodents. And no, they are not related to ferrets, and they are not related to the polecat, which is from the family Mustelidae. Mongoose family, the Veridae and Herpestinae. And you'll find mongoose distributed throughout the world. Herpestes oropunctatus, you can find them in Hawaii, India, right throughout Africa. They're very, very well established. And one of the reasons is because most people will never even see them. They're highly secretive, and that's why I study them. I study the digging animals, the ones that most people never even know are in an area. And there is another world beneath our feet, the world of the digging or fossorial animals. In this area where compacted ground like this doesn't even allow water to infiltrate, the constant digging of the meerkats, which can dig thousands of little holes every day, and of the mongoose, allow water to infiltrate into the ground, which is a direct ecological benefit for landowners as well, where stock have trampled and compacted soil over generations. The pioneer mammals, the diggers, as I like to call them, can reverse this process. But they cannot move into an area where they once occurred if they don't have escape tunnels. So right now, this is not a tunnel that she has made. Myself and Alessia Torchini, shout out to you, Alessia in Italy, and Asia Chili, her daughter, have sponsored these and other tubes, which create a vast labyrinth all around the reserve, and we are adding more over time, where big areas in the past have been destroyed by plowing or stock trampling. Animals can't move into an area and go, hold on a moment, predators, I've said in other videos, I just would like to dig a hole here quickly so I can escape from you. A Lana falcon reaching speeds over 350 kilometers an hour is not going to wait for their prey to go and dig a hole to escape. So these systems, once destroyed, are basically gone for good. So we are producing additional colonies in the area where animals can choose to move there, and then gradually at their leisure expand on these and recolonize an area where they once occurred. And then, of course, if a predator arrives, they are safe. Those who saw the stream from yesterday with Lanius calaris, the fiscal shrike, will know what I'm talking about. When that false alarm was made, deception from a bird to try and steal the food from the mongoose, well, she ran to an escape tunnel nearby. one that we had created here for her. Otherwise, her nearest sleeping area is hundreds of meters away from here. This is direct conservation, applied conservation. We did the research, we found out what the problem was. The problem, or challenge as I prefer to say rather than problem, is that there were not enough escape tunnels because they had been plowed over or trampled by stock. So we started building them. I documented this with Alessia and Asia, and we started to notice the animals were moving into them, which is wonderful. And here you can see it. This is a great success story, because here we have yellow mongoose sleeping in one of the artificial burrow systems that we have created for her in the reserve. So if you would like to help nature out there, all you can do is go out, spend some time, create habitat for them. If they have an escape tunnel or a burrow complex, protect it. You can put up a little fence to stop livestock from trampling it, but the animals can still go beneath the fence, etc. All it takes is an awareness, and everybody out there is in fact responsible for our natural heritage. Even though I'm a professional nature conservationist, I'm quick to say we're all on the same rock going around the sun. It's wonderful to have you here today, fellow travelers, genetic time travelers. Even the little ant and cockroach walking around are travelers. They're here because of their ancestors' success bringing them here. All right, I'm going to end the stream now. It's getting too hot, and she is definitely spending more and more time going into the shade, and I don't want to disturb her. So it's time for this noisy object to sign off for another Mongoose Magic Moments Diaries episode. Remember, friends, if you'd like to see the live streams, please do subscribe. Please do like, share, and join the channel. I appreciate you and all your views. Have a beautiful day.